Welcome back, Twisters, and hey there, hockey fans. Nick here with a special collaboration. Today, I'll be joined by Eric from the channel Flying Fluffy, and we're going to be talking Florida Panthers offseason. So we're going to get into the Sam Reinhart trade. We'll talk a little bit about the goaltending situation with Sergei Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight. We'll talk about just being a Florida Panthers fan and that relationship that they have with some other fans out there, especially those in Tampa. So make sure if you haven't already, check out Eric's channel. I've got a link to that in the description down below. He's been a fantastic guest. He gave me an hour and 20 minutes of his time to talk cats. And you know, the Panthers are going to be a fantastic team to follow over the next couple of years. Bill Zito and Joe Quenneville have done a very nice job over there. Joel Quenneville. They've done a very great job over there. And so I've been following them a lot more over the past couple of seasons. And so I think it's really important that we know a little bit more about the Panthers. So we're going to get into Eric's mind a little bit here. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this segment. And of course, whether or not you're a Panthers fan, if you haven't already, I do encourage you to hit the red subscribe button down below and join the Twist Brigade, because we are now at 2,000 subscribers strong. And I thank you guys so much for being a part of that journey with me over the last 3.5 years. We've got a lot more to look forward to in the months and years ahead. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'll turn it over to my segment with Eric from Flying Fluffy. All right, Twisters, now I'm joined by Eric, aka Jaws from Flying Fluffy. Jaws, welcome to the channel. It's awesome to have you on here, especially since you're a Panthers fan.
Oh man, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate that you knew that Fluffy is the dog. For anybody new to the channel, it's Flying Fluffy. Fluffy is the dog.
And
who's right outside the door.
How old is Fluffy?
Fluffy is actually 8, but he doesn't know it.
Yeah.
If anybody knows anything about St. Bernards, 8 to 10 years is about what you can expect. Not this dog. This dog is still, when they go out there first thing in the morning, if there's bunnies in the yard, because I have about 2 acres that are fenced in, and he will run the whole thing top speed, still at 8 years old, chasing the damn bunny.
So you've been doing Flying Fluffy content creation for what, like over 5 years?
Yeah, I started the channel at the suggestion of a bunch of my Twitter friends, right after the Panthers did the whole summer of trading Gabranson and Kulikov and that whole thing. And I guess people just started, got tired of me bitching and complaining on Twitter. They're like, make a video. I do recaps for all the games. And then intermittently I'll do other hockey videos. And this is the first year I'm starting to do other NHL stuff and more commentary and everything like that. When Kucherov had that press conference, I did a duplicate. Right here. I did it topless and everything. It's about a 5.5 minute video where I did my version of his press conference.
I haven't seen that yet. I need to do that as soon as I get done with you here.
So the point being is I'm not the hockey guy. I'm not even Dangle. I have characteristics of those guys and everything. A lot of the stuff in the recaps there's like a storyline throughout all the years. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just going, this is what happened with this game. And
so then if you're taking a more narrative based approach to your game recaps, have you noticed that having any effect on sort of the audience that you've drawn into the channel in terms of fan allegiances, let's say?
Yeah. I've always surprised, but because I'm being the Panther guy, we don't have a huge fan base, as everybody likes to point out. I would say like a third of the people that watch are fans of other teams.
That's a good makeup. Yeah,
it really is. And considering I've never, up until this year, I'd only done the Panther stuff. I'm always surprised. I'll get a lot of people, comments that will say, especially Lightning fans, obviously.
And I do like that too. When I get to chat with fans of teams that aren't necessarily a rival, but maybe we do meet in the playoffs or something of that sort.
Yeah.
So what's that kind of relationship been like then between Panthers camp and the Lightning in the last couple of years?
Well, I can speak from 2 different experiences. I can speak from personal experience and everybody else's experience.
Interesting. Okay.
And my whole life has been like, if there's anybody that can ride the unicycle in the middle of the road between the 2 warring factions, that's me. Panther fans, Lightning fans, especially with this series, man, they were going head. They were just going at it and pounding it. And then the Lightning fans would come on my live streams and it'd be cool. They'd all be nice and everything like that. So it's really, it's been two different experiences. And I kind of try to walk the middle of the road there, because it's like, I don't want to be too nice to them and piss off the Panther fans. But at the same point, I want to grow the channel too. You know what I mean? So I try to be cool with everybody. It's just been brutal, man. The last time we won a playoff series was, in the Eastern Conference Finals in '96, before we went and got swept by Colorado. Playoff series,
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Tampa's got 3 cups.
Yeah, ever since then. Yeah. Granted,
right.
one of them you can argue shouldn't have counted, but
I'll take
they're actually winning series,
Right. And that's funny, because when this season happened, and Dangle made a video crying about how the Leafs hadn't made the playoff, won a round in 16 years. I was like, I'll see you're 16 and I'll raise you 25, brother.
Granted, a good team finds a way to win, but you've played the Lightning, and last year, if you do want to count that, because that is, postseason, right?
Yeah.
You played the Islanders, right? Yeah, and I mean, the Islanders, I was thinking about this. If I were to do like power rankings right now, or if I said who's the greatest threat to the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's been the New York Islanders the past 2 years.
Right.
They are that close. So it's almost unfair to judge the Panthers as underwhelming or disappointing, because they've just gone up against 2 great teams. And so, there is a gap between them, but is there really that much of a gap between the Panthers just getting into the playoffs in the first place and a team that can actually win a round? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, not so much anymore. Now, at the beginning of last season, we were still kind of questionable. And, we've got this whole thing with Bobrovsky. I could do 3 hours. In fact, I did a half hour in a video yesterday. However, when Ekblad went down, the chain reaction that sent through our defense, which was just tolerable. You know what I mean? With Ekblad up top, we were still having to mess around with maybe playing Strawman and Yandel. The defense was just tolerable. And then when he went down, the kids that we had Forsling up there, and Kiersted came in, and Nadavara came in, and in the regular season, we look okay. We're good. We've got this. And then not so much. And in the playoffs, those poor kids were just running around like chickens with no heads.
Yeah,
it was not pleasant. And
you were taking penalties too.
Oh yeah. I know.
I mean, you knew you were going to see a lot of special teams on both sides of that series.
Right. And, I've pounded this point, when it happened, and then it happened to both our goaltenders with Bob and Drieger, where Tampa was designing that damn play where Kucherov fakes the shot and just slides it to the middle with point, and there's nobody there, and the goalie's in the stands by now, and he's got a soda in his hand. He doesn't even know what happened, and the puck's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And you can only do that, when the team is so gung-ho and we're going to stop that Kucherov shot. We're going to stop that shot. You stop paying attention to everything else. Now with what we've done, addition by subtraction on defense. Now we're not going to be playing Yandel out there. We're not going to put Strawman out there. And with Reinhart, I think Reinhart is going to do, not that Barkov has been bad. Barkov has been great, but I think Reinhart will do for Barkov what Bennett did for Huberdeau.
Interesting.
And yeah, I mean, now we've got those 2 set pairs up there, and I think Duclair is just going to kind of roam with wherever the chemistry is on any given night.
So you don't think he's necessarily a lock to be in the top 6 the whole time?
No, not Duclair. He's got the talent for that, but he's so hot and cold, and he gets on these he's very streaky. And I think that what Q will do is he's going to use him like a spark plug. If any one of the top 3 lines is needing a little bit of oomph, you put Duclair up there, and he creates so many opportunities. He's just got to get better at burying them.
So then, what are your thoughts then on the team's center depth? I don't know a whole lot about it, right? But I know that Reinhart has taken draws before. So is there a possibility that you could actually have him as a second line center and then drop Bennett to the third, or do you think that's not in the cards?
I think we've got Lundell coming up.
Yeah, tell me more about that guy.
But even the pessimistic people who've watched him play are saying, dude, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. So we've pretty much got him, I think, even as an organization, slotted him at 3C.
Wow.
Now the thing with Reinhart, I mean, obviously, he can play center, right? So I don't really see a situation when he'd get moved down. I think if Lundell struggles, my fix for that, to be honest with you, is to put Hornquist at 3C. Even though
Oh,
he's not a natural center, he can play the position. He's played it, off and on before. And I think if Lundell is struggling, you give him Hornquist in the middle, and you let Lundell just take a little bit of a break on the wing, not taking him out. They did that with Trocheck.
got it. Yeah, you guys have just pretty much an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the top 9.
We can score goals. That our offense has not been this team's problem for a while. It's been really, really poorly timed defensive breakdowns and adding in really poorly timed weak goals. And you don't have to give up a lot of weak goals for it to be. It happens at the worst time for us. Is way it's been. Now Bobrovsky's been better. The second half of last year, he was better. He wasn't Vienza Bob, but like I said in the video, if we can get him back to just where he was at the end of Columbus, 2.5, 2.6 with anything over a 9-10, and we can win games with them.
Yeah, that's true, because you're going to give him the runs or the goal support, I guess.
Yeah, the runs.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Sports. So then how do you kind of envision the goaltending shaping up now that I would assume that Knight's going to be pretty locked into the backup job.
Yeah. For me, the thing that I found in the video was that throughout Bobrovsky's career, he's got 3 very, very clear instances of when he plays a full 50, 60 games, the following season, his numbers get worse. When he's playing more like 35, the following seasons, he's knocking it out of the park. So people forget the year he won the Vezina, the year before, he only played 37 games. And then I looked at his playoff statistics. And, Spencer Knight needs to get ready to be in the postseason. We'll put it that way.
Well, I mean, what was that, game 5 that he just like single-handedly won? Or I just, the cojones on him just going into the goal for that game. That was pretty awesome. I mean, I think that he kind of shocked the hockey world in that moment.
He's cool as a cucumber, man, and he's been that way throughout his entire career. All his coaches and everybody always say the same. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It's the same dude. He's the same. He plays the same. He approaches it the same. So the way I see this season is, an even split. And if as long as Spencer Knight is playing anything close to even with Bob, my call is to give him the reins in the playoffs.
Well, something's got to change for a team that hasn't won a series in 25 years. So
right, and that's the thing, and that's what gives a lot of the fans hope right now, is because look, Q showed in the playoffs. He's going to play Knight. He's not going to worry about Bob's 10 million. He's not going to worry about the contracts. He's going to play who's going to win games. And even when after Knight won the, game 5, like you said, he could have said, okay, we got things settled back down. Let's throw Bob back out there or throw Drieger back out there. And he didn't. He went right back to Knight, and Knight played a hell of a game. We didn't score for him.
I think it was like that first goal kind of stung, and then he was really, battling after that.
Yeah. The first goal, and then he gave up the late one. But it was Tampa. They were better than us. You know what I mean?
I believe you still have to formally sign Reinhart, right?
Right.
Got it. Any idea as to what he's asking for?
What we've heard is it's going to be between 6 and 7.
Okay, so you have $7.8 million according to Cap Friendly. So you're probably not making any other moves other than that.
No. And we re-signed Montour, and once we got Reinhart, we knew the only thing we even needed at all was maybe another top 4 defenseman, and it was a maybe, right? Because we feel comfortable with Ekblad, Weegar, Forsling, and Gudis. Would have been nice to be able to get a Seth Jones or somebody like that, Yeah, but we don't have that kind of money. We don't have a huge need to spend that kind of money either. When we got to, we have to extend Barkov, Huberdeau in a couple of years. Mainly, the biggest thing now is getting Barkov extended and then sitting down with Huberdeau and trying to get an idea of what his number is, because you don't want to make moves to make room for Huberdeau if it's not going to work. And the thing with Huberdeau is, and this may surprise a lot of people because it even surprises Panther fans. By the time Huberdeau goes to sign that deal, he's going to be 30.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that we were already getting to that point.
We are already getting to that point where you're looking at this guy going, you're going to go another 6-7 years. And at what hit?
Right.
And look, that pains me to say it. I mean, he's my favorite player on the team is Huberdeau. The last thing I want to do is lose him, but he's worth a certain amount, but for how long? Right.
But, yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, I always like looking at what other players are getting to, right? Like Bennett he was just a lightning rod for you when he came over. And then signed, at least based on his performance in that short time, I think he was assigned to a fairly friendly team deal, right? If we're talking about a second line center. Yeah. And so it's like, how much more are you really going to offer Huberdeau in that sense? And then you can also look at like the Landeskog contract, which was signed when he was 28, and he's actually being, I would say he's maybe even being underpaid too.
The whole thing with Bobrovsky's contract complicates things, because if Spencer Knight turns into, I just keep using the analogy of Vasilevsky. If Knight turns into Vasilevsky, okay, so you give, you split games with Bob for a couple of years. You still got 3 more years on Bob's contract with a no move clause, but you got to re-sign Knight at that point.
Yeah.
You see, and we're not going to pay $19.5 million to 2 goaltenders.
And that buyout would be absolute hell.
The buyout, if you Google the buyout and you click buy this contract out, Google laughs at you. Okay. I mean, it's just like they won't even show it. Cap space for us isn't, I think we're looking at our team right now and we're like, if these are the guys, you know what I mean? Save maybe one guy that we might pick up at the deadline. If we need somebody, these are the guys we're going with. And we basically, it's all the same guys with the exception of Reinhart's new, and Ekblad will be back. The defense is the same guys, and the forwards are pretty much, we didn't get rid of anybody on the forward side of things. So
except for Wenberg.
Well, yeah. I Wenberg and I don't have anything against Wenberg. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because he's not a flashy player and everything like that. I just was not as impressed by him the way everybody else does. And I don't know why. This is our second go around with Barkov and Huberdeau, in the sense of we got Barkov and Huberdeau and Ekblad, and then a surrounding core around them. Remember, we had Yager and Brian Campbell and Willie Mitchell. And it was, so this is our second go around with these guys, and we're starting to all get a little bit, getting a little bit twitchy, because like I said, Huberdeau's going to be 30 in a couple of years, and we know that it doesn't last forever. And that speaks to the pressure where Bobrovsky gets, you know what I mean? I'm sure from the outside, fan bases might wonder why Florida Panther fans complain so much about him. But we're sitting over here with, Barkov, Huberdeau, and Ekblad going, guys, this is it. We're not going to be in a position to draft 3 of those guys again anytime soon.
Yeah, it's true. Especially if you're going to have to cough up 1 or 2 of those picks, to get somebody higher profile for, the window, as you would say, the pending window. So I wanted to get your impressions on that, because now you look at the Bruins lost Krejci and presumably Tuukka Rask. I don't know exactly what's going to happen there. Okay. Toronto is stuck in neutral, to be kind, right?
Right.
Tampa lost their third line. I mean, I liked when they picked up Belmar to play in the bottom 6, but that third line is so quintessential for playoff hockey, in my opinion. So now you look at the division. Do you think that you could be potentially favorites to come out of there?
I like us for second. Tampa to me is like Tom Brady. It's like, I'm not betting against them anytime soon. You know what I mean? I think what could hurt Tampa is not so much the physical aspect, but the mental aspect, because what you have to go through to win a cup, and then what you're going through to win 2 cups, and they did it both with the whole pandemic and all of that. I think they stand a chance of just being mentally drained and mentally exhausted, and maybe having not a great start. That's what I'm thinking. But do I think the Panthers can win? Goaltending.
X factor.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to score a lot of goals. You got to figure the defense is going to be better. Goaltending, and that includes Spencer Knight.
Not to mention, just goaltenders are the last position to mature, really.
Yeah.
A good young goaltender. I mean, not like Matt Murray was almost an outlier in that here he was 21 years old and he won the Stanley Cup back to back. And then you end up with a good goaltender, but even it's almost like he never had like the right sort of path to develop because he was just thrown into the fire and he just caught fire, right? Versus and that's you don't want to make that same sort of assumption with Knight that he's always going to be like that guy that you saw in Game 5 against Tampa.
Right. Exactly. He's got to experience a little bit of, unfortunateness, you know what I mean? And so then that brings us right to Bob. It's just like, and it's so frustrating. I mean, if he was playing at the level, the contract just always comes up, and it's just like you would think you wouldn't have to worry about your $10 million goalie is, I guess, the point I'm making. You know what I mean?
I mean, especially since he's making more. Oh boy, I have to drop this one because
I know what you're going to say. There's plenty of names you could say.
This is this one right here. So Bob makes more by himself than Chris Drieger and Philip Grubauer combined. That's a real thing. I want to kind of switch topics for a minute here. So one thing that our viewers love to discuss and weigh in on are jerseys. And of course, you've got the classic Panthers home jersey from that era. And I got one right here too. So what are sort of your thoughts on the current like jersey lineup, right? We had like the home and the away. And of course there was the reverse retro as well. Is there something that you want to see return? Like how would you like to see the Cats on the ice going forward?
Well, I'm all about the old logo, right? The New Jersey, in fact, it's funny because I just did a video. I do a Q&A video every week, and I just did this. I like the Panther, but I don't like the shape of the crest on the new logo. So, boy, it's a hot topic on Panthers Twitter, and I know how absurd that sounds, but every year that's the hot topic is when are we going to get a third jersey? And we want the damn cat with the broken stick. We want
the broken stick. Okay.
Right. This was the best logo ever. Of course, in our opinion. How do you not bring that back? Right. And, they put little patches and they do little, one-offs to it. And
helmet.
Like yeah. The sticker on the helmet. To me, it's just an absolute no-brainer, and they would sell a gazillion of them. So I guess time will tell with that. I've not been. I mean, look, you don't see the new logo behind me.
That's true. I mean? I don't. No, I see.
And on my recap
on your whiteboard, but that's fairly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, on here. Yeah. That's actually it's a signed poster. It was a poster that they gave away at the games.
Oh,
and then a buddy of mine had that's all actually live signatures.
Oh.
So I kind of had to take it, you know what I mean? But in the recap wall downstairs with the puppets, you won't find the new logo. And my brother's a pain in my ass. He doesn't like the new logo either, but he knows how much I dislike it. So for Christmas, he bought me a sweater and a scarf with the new logo, of course.
That's too funny. You know what? So I don't know if you've seen this up close, but so I've got the modified, the update. You know what? This logo, I like this the most. I think that just from a design standpoint, it looks much more current day. So if they wanted to ever switch to this, I think that actually might be my preferred one. And it's funny because It's like these are aesthetically very different, but I happen to like both of them quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the alternate ones. I like the alternates; they're okay. I know people aren't a fan of the old. We had that blue one that we had for a number of years. I have one of those. I think I have one of the shirts sitting around here somewhere.
You mean when they
And
went like full navy or the powder or the one with like the powder blue?
the powder blue,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I actually have a shirt similar to that what you're wearing with that logo. And it's got Van Beesbrook on the back, so it's actually from back in the day. But to give you an example of how much I like the old logo, I'm gonna give a shameless plug here.
Please.
I actually have an eBay store. If you look up eBay store, the eBay ID is Beezer's Books. And about 3 years ago, I bought a huge amount of wholesale, brand new in the box from that was in a warehouse from 1993, 1994. T-shirts, flags, banners, all sorts of stuff, all with the original logo, brand new shirts with the tags, sweatshirts, and everything.
Wow.
I've done okay with it. I mean, I made my money back, maybe 3 or 4 times, you know what I mean? But just to have it to sell and to give away, every year before the season starts and everything, I'm giving away these flags, you know what I mean? Because I've got still got 80 of them sealed in the package, the big 3x5 flags.
Shoot, I might have
Yeah,
to check this out afterwards.
yeah. So yeah, shameless plug there. Then and so yeah, I'm a dealer of the old logo. I'm trying to keep it alive as best I can.
Any plans to go to an actual Panthers game, or do you usually go to like Capitals? How does that work for you
Well,
in a normal year?
yeah, I don't want to bum your audience out, but I have systemic Lyme disease, so travel for me is not recommended, especially now.
Wow.
I can't drive myself. I can drive to the grocery store and back. I can do 55 on a nice deserted road, but I can't drive. My eyes, I get bad vertigo, so I can't drive bridges. I can't drive the highways and everything like that. So me getting away, even for 3 or 4 days, is the stress of trying to get away. Is usually what it usually stops me now. This year, I actually have an opportunity where I might be able to go down for the opening game. But it all depends on the travel restrictions and everything, because with the Lyme disease, I can't get the vaccine. So if they make it where you need that to fly, I'm here, and that's okay. I've had it since '09, so it's not like, I've built my life around what I can and cannot do. So I've kind of, that's one of the big reasons why I keep doing the videos and have the channel and everything, is because I'm home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a way for social interaction too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I want to get down there and go to a game and everything. But it just depends on, now with the restrictions and the virus and everything like that. If I get that sucker, it'd knock me right out. Either way, if I get the vaccine or if I get the thing, so I just kind of have to, as they say, stay home and stay safe.
Well, anyway, that was everything that I had intended to cover for as it's, pertaining to the Panthers. Were there any other points or any other anything else you wanted to bring up?
The Florida Panthers have fans. They really, really do. And I know that it may seem to the rest of the fan bases like we have a small fan base, and in some respects that we do. But there's no NHL fan base that has put up with more, and we're still there. And that's all I'll say about that.
Wow, that's profound. I mean, you that's a strong statement, when you consider fans of teams like the Maple Leafs or the Canucks or the Sabres, right?
Yeah, no, and I get that. I do get that. But what those teams have that we really don't is a media that will put out pressure to the team. Like, the team is under a pressure from the media. You know what I mean? Especially in places like Toronto and everything. So the fans feel like they have somebody that the media has their back, where they're going to put pressure on everybody to make sure things are done right. Well, you won't find anybody in the media or YouTube or anything like that, other than myself, that really puts the lighter to the team and will call them out for things. But for a long time, I can't tell you how many messages that I would get when I would do a rant in a video, and I would say, man, thank you for doing these, because you're the voice of the fans and nobody else will say these things. We feel like, as Panther fans, for a long time, things were really, really bad, and we didn't have a voice. And so thank you, YouTube.
Do you think that that's also a reflection of just that sports market in general, with, the historic success, I would say, of the Dolphins, and just that the Heat have more or less been a pretty relevant team for about, I don't know, for the better part of, I'd say, 25 years or so?
It's a really good point. I'm going to tell you a really good story.
Not to mention the Marlins, 2 World Series. Jeez.
Right. Yeah. So to describe the South Florida fan base, I grew up in the 80s when we had Dan Marino, and we had a playoff game, 1986, Dolphins versus the Browns. Now the Browns at that point had Bernie Kosar as the quarterback, the guy that won national championships at University of Miami. Okay. So you had Dan Marino, you have Bernie Kosar, you have a home game. Okay. Playoff game. You know where I saw that game? I saw that game at the skating rink, because they played it on the radio, because they didn't sell enough tickets in time to lift the blackout.
Wow.
So that tells you all, not because the Dolphins weren't good, but because we were like, we're going to beat the Browns. We'll wait to the AFC Championship game to go to the game. That's how spoiled the South Florida sports fan has been.
What's the origin of actual
Flying Fluffy? So we used to go vacation at this, and I know how this sounds. It's not as fancy as it sounds, but we used to go vacation at this little beach house on the bay. Okay. And so you got this beach house, and then there's about a 15 to 17 foot diagonal drop. And then there is the beach. So the house is on the cliff. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you come out of the house and you've got maybe 20, 30 feet a yard. And then there's stairs that go down, but then the rest of it is just sand, like a bluff, like a 15, 20 foot bluff. So we go out there, and we're going to, walk down the stairs to let the dogs go run on the beach. And Fluffy comes out of the door and he sees a bunch of Canadian geese in the water. And he skipped the stairs. He takes off running. He was like 2, and he takes off running, and he just launches off the cliff, just complete, and sticks the landing and keeps running. It was like watching a cat. He stuck the landing, didn't break stride or anything, and just hauled ass into the water. And he's been flying Fluffy ever since, because it was a flying St. Bernard. I never seen it. I thought I was going to the vet for sure. Yeah. I mean, he launched. It wasn't like he fell. It's like he knew what he was doing. He's already been there. He launched himself and boom, landed on all fours and just kept on running.
Oh, did you get into like a professional trainer after that for competition?
I maybe I should have, but yeah, that's where the name of the channel came from, because I have a flying St. Bernard, literally.
Well, Eric, this has been wonderful. I've enjoyed having you on this channel, and maybe we can do it again later on in the season. Now, of course, besides YouTube, where can others find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube, Flying Fluffy. You can find me on Twitter at Jawsaholic. And that's it. I keep a low profile, because what I find, if I do too much, then you look at, and I'm sure you can relate to this. You go to check your notifications and you got to record a video. And the next thing you know, you've been there 90 minutes and you're not any closer to having done the video yet at all.
That's a great point. And yeah, unless there's anything else that you had to add, I think.
No, man, this was great. I really appreciate it. I know I rambled on. You've got a hell of an editing job. You've got 2 videos worth of material. You could be like Dango with this video and just like put out one subject at a time after.
Probably so.
When he does the podcast and then he like breaks it up into 8 videos and then we look at it and I'm like, he's making $400 for each segment. It's like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Just want a little piece of that coming on over.
Hell, give me $4 per segment. I'll take it.
Yeah. When I make $4 off of a video, you got into the partner program. I'm just like,
yeah.
$4. Hell yeah.
Yeah. The video I did about Evander Kane, I think I've made almost $5. I'm like, I'm like, just give me 8 of those a day.
I'll give you 8 more views on it that you'll get.
Exactly. All right, but no, really, this was good. I appreciate it, man. I'll see you during the season as things come on, and we'll have some fun.
Sounds good, man. I'll catch you later.
All right, bud. All right, thanks, bud. Bye.
All right, friends. Well, there you have it. The Florida Panthers have another intriguing season ahead of them. Can they potentially climb the ladder some more in that division? And can they actually win a playoff round? Let's hope that Spencer Knight and Sam Reinhart can help this team out. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, of course, about the Panthers in the comments down below. And thank you so much, Eric, for being a part of this collaboration. Hopefully we get a chance to work together as well in the near future. So guys, make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to Eric's channel by looking at the video description down below. And make sure that you stay in the loop here by subscribing, hitting the notifications bell, and a thumbs up because that helps other Twisters like you discover this channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Nick, and I'll catch you Twisters later. Ciao.